Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Prabhupada ki, Sri Radhastami Mahavatsava ki. Hare Rama,
Shri Prabhupada Shri Radhastami Shri Prabhupada Ji Shri Radhastami Mahotsav Ji Sai Gaur Premanande. So welcome to the Radhastami program. So there's a nice kirtan with Bhajans Abbey. And for the next few minutes we're going to talk about the significance of this Radhastami observation. And we'll sing some Bhajans and we'll speak the translations also so we can understand them. If we weren't there this morning, you may not have heard some of these devotional songs. And then at 6 o'clock, we have a special guest speaker, His Grace Kirtans Prabhu, who will speak from 6 o'clock until 6:30, and we'll finish with Gora Arti. And if you haven't cooked a feast for Radharani at home, then you can still do that. So just speak a little bit. So this Radha and Krishna philosophy, Srila Prabhupada says, is not the loving dealings between like ordinary boy and girl. So Srila Prabhupada says that yogis and other devotees, they perform great austerities, they practice brahmacharya, they take strict vows and they practice for full lifetimes or many lifetimes, even sometimes they practice devotional service, they practice austerities so that they can get some connection with the Supreme Brahman, Param Brahma. And Krishna is that Param Brahman, so when people are performing austerities and giving up sense gratification, giving up sex life, etc., then they're not doing that because Krishna's pastimes are of this material world, that they're some mundane, loving pastimes. But these are the epitome of selfless service and unconditional love, which we cannot find in the material world. The closest thing we'll find in the material world to unconditional love is generally considered to be the mother and the child, that love which is there, that regardless of what the child may do, or regardless how the mother may feel, it will still, the mother will still serve the child, still look after it. And sometimes there appears to be no reward for that, but still the mother feels she wants to do that. So that is about as close as you can get to some kind of selfless love in the material world. And the position of Srimati Radharani, her position is as the most superior devotee, and her service to Krishna is the most attractive to Krishna. So the very name Krishna means all attractive, but Krishna is attracted even by Srimati Radharani. So that's mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion by Srila Goswami, that one of the first symptoms of pure devotion service is that it attracts even Krishna. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he used to say, don't try to see God, but act in such a way that God will see you. So in this way we attract Krishna by our devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada said that love is not a feeling, it's something which should be demonstrated. The feeling may be there, but if we're not doing anything, then what is the manifestation of that love? So it has to be done, something has to be done to demonstrate that love. We can't talk about loving someone but we won't do anything for them. Oh, I love you, well, can you do my laundry? Nah. Can you cook for me? Nah. Will you polish my shoes? Nah. I just love you, that should be enough for you. What's the value of those words? So in that person who loves Krishna the most, that is Srimati Radharani, no one's service is equal to hers. And yet still, she wants to put others forward. This is the compassionate nature of Srimati Radharani, that even though she is the topmost servant, and Krishna himself is attracted by her, even though he is the all-attractive, Madan Mohan, he's attracted by Madan Mohan Mohini. So Radharani is known as the attractor of Krishna. So Krishna's beauty is so phenomenal that even Cupid is put to shame by Krishna's beauty. And even though Krishna is the all-attractive, then Radharani's attraction is attracting Krishna. So her service cannot be equal, but yet still she wants to put others forward, and as we say, this is compassionate nature. It's said that Srimati Radharani has always got one eye on Krishna and one eye on the jivas, on the conditioned souls. She's always thinking, how can they be benefited? How can they come to Krishna? So when Krishna comes to the material world, his devotees come with him, and they perform pastimes to attract the living entities, and these pastimes culminate in the pastimes of the rasa dance, of which Srimati Radharani and Krishna are the cynosure of this pastime and of all pastimes. So by displaying these pastimes in the material world, then the living entities are attracted. So there were some great sages who were practicing austerities, tapasya, for many, many years. And this was in the time of Lord Ram. And when they met Lord Ram, when he was an exile in the forest, then they were so much attracted to him in Madhurya Ras, conjugal affection. And Lord Ram says, not for this pastime, but the next pastime you can come and take birth in Vrindavan and serve me in this capacity. So these devotees who'd given up everything, sometimes someone may give up family or kingdom or empire, simply to purify their mind so that they can connect with the Supreme, and this is the highest way of connecting in these rasas. So we should be very careful not to prematurely or in some shallow, cheap way think that we have some devotion to Radharani. And as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was saying that he didn't even feel himself qualified to mention her name. So of course he's more qualified than any of us. He's more qualified than all of us put together. But he's saying this as an acharya. He's saying this so that we don't take it cheaply, that we can just go about chanting Radharani's name all day and in some cheap way imitate some devotional sentiment. And because the first offense against the holy name is blaspheming the devotees or to offend the devotees, so we should be very careful not to commit some offence against Srimati Radharani. So in order to please Radharani, because she's always very eager to present the fallen conditioned souls to Krishna, when we attempt to make some devotional service, she's saying to Krishna, oh look at this jiva, he's trying to serve you, please take note. So she wants to expand Krishna's pleasure pastimes by introducing more and more jivas into his pastimes. And this is conveyed through the Guru Parampara, the disciplic succession of spiritual masters, and that is also handed down to us. We're also being included and invited into the eternal pastimes of the Lord. And we've been asked also to go and invite other people. So just like if you've been invited to a party and someone says, okay, you can bring any friends you like, then you think, wow, great. So you just phone out, you get your phone out, you just basically tell everybody to come. Because there's some amazing party that everybody wants to go. Just like you could imagine, perhaps you go to see one of your favourite bands, and somehow or another you get on the guest list, and then the person says, oh, you can bring any friends you like. And even if you didn't have a friend, you'd be trying to find one, wouldn't you? So anyway, the mundane comparison, but the idea is that when we find something amazing, then we want to share that. So Srimati Radharani and Lord Nityananda, who is the gateway to Radha and Krishna's pastimes, then they can empower us on their behalf to go and reclaim the fallen conditioned souls. So Lord Chaitanya, he wanted to experience the pleasure which Srimati Radharani had or has for serving Krishna. The gopis of Vrindavan, they said to Krishna, we have something you don't have. Krishna says, what is that? We have love for you. So he wanted to experience that love, and therefore he appeared as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna in the mood of Radharani, and he's Radha and Krishna combined. So he's known as Mahavadanya Avatar, most merciful incarnation, and this magnanimity is the mood of Srimati Radharani, that she doesn't want to just keep Krishna to herself. She's the opposite. She wants to bring everyone to Krishna. So although Krishna is known as the Parameshvara, the Supreme Controller, then she even controls Krishna by her love. So this is how important she is. So as we were saying earlier on today, that for anyone who wants to understand if there's equal rights on the Supreme platform, then we can see that actually Srimati Radharani, she is the controller. She is the Supreme Controller, because she controls even Krishna. But so by her loving devotional service, she controls Krishna, and Krishna shows this as also he's taking the position of Arjuna's chariot driver. Krishna likes to serve his devotees. So there's many wonderful pastimes we can read in the Krishna book and various other literatures which describe the glories of Srimati Radharani and the glories of these pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And so for now we're going to just chant some nice bhajan, and at 6 o'clock, as I say, Kumar Prabhu will speak. Srimati Radharani ki jai, Shri Radhe Shyam ki jai. Which song first? It's Radhastami. So this song, Radhastami, was written by Srila Rupa Goswami. So in International Society for Krishna Consciousness, the devotees are known as Rupa Nugas, or followers of Rupa Goswami. And in this song, if you can put the words up, please. He's glorifying Srimati Radharani. Although she appears to be just like a young girl, then the pastimes between Radha and Krishna are described by the great sages Sanaka and Sanatan. Not just like in your newspaper you have some gossip about the royal couple or some other celebrity couple, but actually these great sages, Sanaka and Sanatan, they're describing the great qualities and characteristics, divine characteristics of Srimati Radharani. So in this way we can understand that these pastimes are not of the material world. Okay. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhavadaya, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhavadaya, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhavadaya, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhavadaya, Radharani Mandala Mahite, Radharani Radha Shri Radhastami Srimati Radharani Appeal ki Constitute ki Which song's next? Which one is it? Good about it. Good about it. I think you're singing the next bunch. Is that right? Jai Radha and Krishna.
Oh, yeah. Sorry? Up to 6 o'clock, yeah? Jai Radhe, Jai Krishna, Jai Jaya Jaya Ishvara Vrindavana Maja Jaya Jaya Ishvara Jaya Jaya Krishna Sakhavati Jaya 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 Vrindavana Vasidana Jaya Jaya Vija Bhakti Jaya Nagarapanya Jaya Vija Bhakti Jaya Bhakti Jaya Jaya Govinda Narayana Bhakti Rasa Mangala Jaya 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 Rasalila Sarvamanorama Jaya Rasalila Sarvamanorama Jaya Jaya Pararasa Samarasa Sara Jaya Jaya Alakiya Gave Rajite Raja Krishna Dasa Ave Namah Sangita Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
eternal enthusiasm. It gives us great pleasure to invite His Grace, Kishori Jani, to speak on Radhastami here, to visit from Robin. So thank you very much, Kishori Jani, for joining us, and just hand you over as a small and there's a few devotees online as well. Thank you for taking the time.
Hare Krishna, everybody, and a happy Radhastami to everyone. Sometimes we say happy Janmashtami, happy Radhastami, and perhaps we don't know quite what we should be feeling. It's a happy birthday, but perhaps we are still endeavoring to understand the relevance of the person that we are celebrating the birthday of in our life. So today is a happy day, of course, because it is of the 365 days of the year. This is the day that the Queen of Vrindavan, Srimati Radharani, appeared in this world 5,000 years ago. But it's also the day that we remember that we are related to Radharani as being a product of her kindness upon us, since to be remotely attracted to Krishna is a product of her grace. And this anugraha, or prasad, this grace from the tender feminine counterpart of Krishna, is what the life of devotion, the life of spirituality in Krishna consciousness is made up of. Sometimes we say, the devotees have an expression, I am made of your mercy. It means that without your mercy, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. And it's like a person who's been on a ship and he fell overboard and he was in the water, and only one person on the ship saw him and threw him the lifebelt. And in that lifebelt, he managed to save himself, and he was pulled to safety. And he goes on and he gets married and he has children, he has a career and he has wealth and he has fame and he has holidays, and he has travel, and he enjoys life very much. And then one day he meets the person who saved him. And he says, you know, your kindness is all my life is made of. Were it not for you, I would not be here now. I wouldn't have all of this. So Radharani is that person to whom we say, thank you. Without you, I would have none of this. So all of this is everything that we are as devotees of Krishna. All the spiritual enjoyment that we have is due to her kindness. So who is she? Srila Prabhupada, the guru and founder of the Krishna consciousness movement, the Hare Krishna movement, he said, this is a natural question to say, who is that girl with Krishna? Krishna, we kind of understand, don't we? Krishna, God, okay, I understand. He's an unusual God. He's not the old man God. He's not the wizened face. He's not the God with thunderbolts and lightning, but he's a fresh-faced youth who plays the flute in a forest setting. But who is that always depicted standing by his side? Prabhupada said at one time, he said, this philosophy may take some time for you to understand. May take some time for you to understand who is Krishna and who is Radha, because this is very deep philosophy, but not so deep that he didn't attempt to explain it for us over the years that he was with us from 1966 through to 1977. He conveyed to us the essence of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, or the philosophy of those who worship Krishna according to the teachings of Krishna's incarnation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great master. So the first thing he said was, you can understand Krishna by understanding that Krishna has energies. There is the internal energy, which is Krishna himself, and everything that makes Krishna, Krishna. Then there is Krishna's material energy, that is the creation. And then there is the observer, both of creation, or matter, and the observer of spirit, or Supreme Spirit, Krishna, and that is the individual self, the individual soul, which is known as the marginal energy. And these three energies make up the entirety of the cosmos. Either it is God or one of his two primary energies. And then Prabhupada took us on a journey. He said, if you look at Krishna's internal energy, there's also three features. One is the God is eternal, and that is his feature of simply being. There is no more powerful a principle than God being his being. And then there is his knowing. He's a supreme knower of everything. Just imagine, the supreme knower of everything knows everything that has happened in the past, everything that will happen in the future, everything that is happening now, and down to the small details. So that supreme knower is Krishna. So he's the supreme eternal being, the supreme knower, but he's also the supreme enjoyer, the Adi Purusham, the supreme enjoyer of everything. So we might say being, knowing, and enjoying, that is God. And the Sanskrit words for this is the Sandini, the Samvit, and the Hladini. And a simpler way, we sometimes say Krishna is Sat, Chit, Ananda, or eternity, knowledge, and bliss. And is the bliss potency, God's ability to experience the greatest level of happiness, which is Radha. And these Radha is Krishna's potency, or Shakti. Krishna is the Shaktiman, or the possessor of Shakti power. And Radha is that power of love. So Krishna is experiencing love, and the greatest lover of Krishna is Radha. And so we find that the greatest analogy in the Puranas is that there is a flower, and from the flower there is fragrance. So there is two things, but you cannot have the fragrance without the flower, or the flower without the fragrance. These two things are just like the sun and the sunshine. One is the Shaktiman, and one is the Shakti. One is the possessor of the sunshine, one is the shine itself. So these two things go together, the energy, the energetic, and the energy. And at one time, Prabhupada said, Krishna has no meaning without Radha. Radha has no meaning without Krishna. So they're both intimately connected for eternity. Prabhupada is very quick to point out when he talks about Krishna, not merely the appearance of Krishna, but his ontological identity. He is the absolute truth, the ultimate reality. And of course, there's a great deal of philosophy from the Vedas and Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, the Puranas, the Bhagavat Purana, all point in this direction of Krishna, the person, being the supreme truth. Krishna has different stages in which he can be realized. First, the Sat aspect, his existence, his eternal existence is realized first. That is the Brahman. And then a Sat and Chit aspect, that is the Paramatma. And the full Sat, Chit, Ananda, all three aspects of Krishna's internal nature. These are only fully understood when we have the Bhagavan aspect of Krishna. So Krishna is the ideal of the yogis, and the yogis, the philosophers, have given up everything in order to see just a fleeting glimpse of Krishna in this one human lifetime. So that is a great task, great demanding exercise. But it is so attractive, Krishna is so attractive, that they can give up everything else, because they understand that this world is like the upside down reflection of a tree in water. If you have a beautiful fruit tree and you fancy having some fruit, and you go to the reflection and you try to pick the fruit from the tree, from the reflection, then all you will have is cold water. There will be no sweet taste. So those who realize this, they embark on a path of yoga to try to fix themselves once again as the enjoyer of the supreme absolute truth. Prabhupada is very keen to point out to us that great persons in the past gave up absolutely everything. Perhaps it's relatively easy for us to give up everything because we didn't have everything. We may not have fame or beauty or riches or power in this world, and therefore coming to Krishna consciousness was relatively easy for us. And that's why the Srimad Bhagavatam gives us the example of great kings who gave up everything to attain Krishna. So we have the story of Bharat Maharaj, King Bharat, who gave up absolutely everything in order to attain the divine bliss of being reunited with Krishna. Prabhupada even tells the story of Lord Buddha. Buddha was only 25, the peak of his youthfulness, surrounded by celestial beauty, beautiful princesses, the women of the palace. And Prabhupada comments that how they were able to give up ordinary girls in order to search for Krishna. He says, so do not think when you look at a picture of Krishna, do not think when you see the girl standing beside Krishna that this is an ordinary girl. He says, if King Bharat and Buddha were giving up ordinary girls to seek out Krishna, do you think Krishna is interested in an ordinary girl? No. He says, so Radharani is no ordinary girl. She is Krishna's divine potency. Prabhupada said everybody is looking for Krishna. Everybody wants to love Krishna. Everybody wants to be with Krishna. But who is Krishna attracted to? We're attracted to Krishna, even the very name Krishna. One derivation of the name of Krishna is Karshna, that person who is attractive to everybody. The whole world is looking for Krishna. I remember in the beginning of the Krishna book, George Harrison writes, everybody's attracted to Krishna. Everybody's looking for Krishna, whether they know it or not. And then he says, all you need is love. Krishna is love. That's what we're looking for. So everybody's looking for Krishna. But what sort of love is Krishna looking for? And then Krishna is looking for the love that only his supreme object of love can give to him. Krishna is attracted to Radha. Even the name Radha means love. It means worship, but worship not in a ritualistic or ceremonial sense, but worship with love, where love is the very vehicle of the service. So the love is the primary element, and the actual activities to make the person you love happy, that is the secondary or commensurate element of that. So the greatest lover of Krishna is Radha, and therefore Krishna, who isn't attracted to anything else, any other kind of love, is attracted to her. And in the ancient texts, we have the figure which in Western literature is known as Cupid, or Eros, the god of love, who fires his arrows at unsuspecting young people, and whose arrows are, shall we say, they're insurmountable. You cannot pull out an arrow once Cupid has fired that arrow. Everybody has that experience, perhaps. You fall in love, you do not rise in love. So the only person that Cupid cannot fire his arrow at is God himself. So therefore, Krishna is known as the most beautiful Cupid. He is more powerful than even the power of Cupid's arrow. Even Cupid is attracted to Krishna. Therefore, Krishna is known as Madan Mohan. But Radha, because Krishna is attracted to her, she is known as Madan Mohan Mohini, she who attracts the mind of Krishna. No one else can attract the mind of Krishna. So that makes Krishna subject to the power of Radha. How is that possible? That God himself, in his supreme abode, becomes a servant of the power of Radha, who is his own energy. How is that possible? Because although according to Tattva, Krishna is supreme, according to Rasa, another way of analyzing it, the emotional content of Krishna's relationship, we see that Krishna will subordinate himself to those who love him. And in the case of Radha, she loves him the most. And therefore, we always say, Hare Krishna. Hare means Radha. Hare Krishna. Hare Rama. So this is all very well, but what does it have to do with us? That Krishna in his highest heaven and paradise is being very nicely served by his tender-hearted feminine counterpart who loves him very much, and he loves her the most. What does that have to do with us? We are the souls who walked away from playing our part in this divine couple's love. How can we, how does it relate to us? Well, Radha, of course, means devotional service, and Rani means the queen. And another name is Bhakti, or Bhakti Devi, the goddess of Bhakti. And when Radha comes to earth on this day, many thousands of years ago, it begins a period whereby the supreme pastimes of Radha and Krishna are displayed for everyone in this world so that they can become attracted themselves and take shelter. Take shelter means, yes, I would like to be part of something like this. I want to serve God, and I understand that by seeing how Radha serves Krishna, I can understand this. So we are, when we're performing devotional service or bhakti yoga, we are actually following in the footsteps of Srimati Radharani, the Queen of Vrindavan. Vrindavan, of course, is the eternal place where all singing, all talking is singing, and all walking is dancing, and you never taste the same food twice. So it's a wonderful place, but a place that is only attainable through bhakti. If you think I shall go to Vrindavan and I will enjoy myself there, that is that is not the way. But if you think I shall go to Vrindavan and I will serve there, then and my only happiness will be if Krishna is happy, then you're already in Vrindavan, you're already on your way. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great teacher, who was said to be an incarnation of Radha and Krishna, he says, very interesting quote here, he says, Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavadu Vargena Ya Kalpita. There is no better worship than what was conceived by the gopis. So imagine Krishna surrounded by concentric circles of liberated beings, all interested in serving him and giving him pleasure. And among them, among the gopis, Radha is the topmost. Therefore, Radha is greater than Krishna. And Prabhupada comments, this is Gaudiya philosophy. And he looks and he says, it may take some time to understand. Well, yeah. So we can include, especially on this day, we can include Radharani in our prayers. In fact, every day we do that, don't we? When we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We're praying to Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna. Please allow me to serve you, oh my dear Queen of Vrindavan, oh my dear Vrindavan Bihari, please allow me to once again take part in your eternal pastimes of love. But the nature of Radharani is not one that she has Krishna and she's looking at all the other attendants of Krishna in some sort of, understanding her nature. Her nature is always to try to help all of them be with Krishna and serve Krishna and achieve Krishna's grace even more than herself. There was Srila Prabhupada was very fond of a painting. I don't know whether you've seen this painting, but it was painted in Calcutta in 1913. And of this painting, Prabhupada said that the color of Krishna's skin, he said it is exactly the same color as Krishna. So if you want to know what color Krishna is, you look at that painting. We used to have a copy of that painting, but from 1913. So he commented that the important element of this painting is that Radharani she's approached Krishna, not by herself, but she's bringing another gopi, another cowherd maiden, to Krishna. And she's taking her hand and she's joining Krishna's hand to this gopi's hand. Because Radha's pleasure is that others will experience the pleasure of Krishna's company. Therefore, her love is completely selfless. And that has bearings on ourselves because we are also souls who have left the company of the Supreme Person, and we can be reunited with him just as much as Radharani is bringing those two hands together. We can also be reunited by Srimati Radharani. Prabhupada in general was very careful to explain Radharani's position philosophically and always wanted us to think about it carefully with a cool head, because it is so easy to think of it as an ordinary boy-girl relationship and to either sentimentalize it or to exaggerate its mundane as something mundane. The Prabhupada was very cautious in explaining things to us. So every Radhastami, when he gave class, it was quite a philosophical class. So here in my presentation, I'm trying to emulate some of the things that Srila Prabhupada said. But on different occasions, towards the end of the class, and particularly in London, in front of Radha Londoneshwara, the names of the deities, Radha and Krishna in London, and Radha Gokulananda, the names of the deities in Bhaktivedanta Manor in Watford, Hertfordshire. He said that Krishna is being served by Radharani, and he turned towards the altar and he said, "Just see, she is serving him, and but her one hand is holding something for Krishna's pleasure, but her other hand she is raised to bless the devotees, to bless all of you," he said. And so he said she turns to Krishna and she says, "Krishna, I am not your devotee, but just see these other devotees. They are great devotees. I can only offer you some small service, but see what these devotees are offering to you." And in this way, Radharani intercedes for all of us. Radharani intercedes for the soul and says, "My dear Lord, please give them your shelter." And Srila Prabhupada said that she is very attracted to our service for Krishna. Radharani is also attracted. She's attracted to Krishna, but even greater than her attraction to Krishna is her attraction to those who are serving Krishna. And so she is attracted to you. She's attracted to you. How is it that Radharani can be attracted to you there in Scotland, there in England? Because in the spiritual realm, there is no geography. Radharani can be present for you in your life, and always has been, always bringing you gently, gently, gently back to this realm of service, this plane of complete selfless service. One time Prabhupada's guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, was asked, how can I achieve, or how can we achieve the full mercy of Krishna? And he said, very nice quote, back in the 1920s, he said, the complete mercy of Krishna can only be received when Radharani accepts you as her own. Then the complete mercy is accessible. So on this Radhastami day, we pray that we can also become one of Radharani's own, to be counted within the circle of her friends who are offering service to Krishna. Our service to Krishna has begun, it is eternal. If we're convinced of that fact, then we might as well get on and, complete the business in this life by being completely selfless in our service, gradually leaving the affairs and the responsibilities and the pains and pleasures of this world behind us, even while continuing to function in our earthly relationship, but to understand that our heavenly relationship, our relationship in eternity, is as a servant of a servant of a servant of Srimati Radharani, the best of all servants of Krishna. Someone came to my door this afternoon, just as I was thinking what I would say to you today, and he gave me some prasadam. Prasadam has been prepared by Parashuram Das, and every day 5,500 meals are going out. And this is very indicative of Radharani's mercy. Radharani she's not only the queen of Vrindavan, but she's the queen of cooking for Krishna. It is said that she never cooks the same thing twice and wants to feed all of Vrindavan. So this business of cooking for Krishna, offering to Krishna, and distributing food to others has the dual benefit. One moves closer to Krishna, and also on earth, there is nothing that attracts people more like charity work. People are very attracted to selfless service, and many dozens of people now are taking part in our prasadam distribution, and many thousands of pounds are being given in charity to this project. So service begets service. Service is all attractive. Krishna is all attractive, and Radharani and her service is all attractive also. So in that spirit, we can do two things. One is that we can reach out to others and try to join them to Krishna. And we can reach out to others with kindness and compassion, because that is all attractive in this world. And in this way, we can be great devotees of Radharani. We are devotees of Radharani. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati said, we are devotees of Radharani because Radharani is a devotee of Krishna. So on this Radhastami day, I pray that we will all move closer to Radha Krishna through the agency and kindness of Srimati Radharani, and that we'll always remember her when we pick up our beads and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And in chapter 18 of the Nama Chintamani, Harinam Chintamani, Bhaktivinoda reports that Nityananda Prabhu says that Radha Krishna can be worshipped in this world primarily by the worship of Gaura and Nitai, Chaitanya and Nityananda. That when we see Chaitanya, we are seeing Radha and Krishna. He said, and worship of Radha Krishna, he said, only truly begins when we have developed raga. And raga develops when we have reached the point of anartha nivriti, when we've given up all our bad habits and our attachment to this world through the help of Radharani in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then we will be able to enter in. So this is our pathway. So there in Karuna Bhavan, you have the most gorgeous Gaur Nitai in all the world, and you'll be able to feel Radharani's love in such a powerful way. So let Karuna Bhavan be the center for the Vrindavan worship of Krishna through the agency and the Audarya, the generosity of Shri Gaur Nitai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Kirtan Prabhu. Very much appreciate you taking the time to be with us on Radhastami. And we hope to hear more from you soon. And now I'd just like to invite everyone to Gaur Arti with Shri Gaur Nitai Prashanshi, the most beautiful Gaur Nitai deities in the world.
It's true.
Thank you so much for that encouragement and enthusiasm from you. So I told Sri Krishna Prabhu is going to lead Evening Arti, unless Kirtan Prabhu wants to lead it from there. Thanks for sharing your wisdom, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Shri Radharani ki, Shri Radhastami Appeal ki, Shri Radharani ki,
Viva Jaya Jaya Gaura Hare Krishna. Viva Jaya Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gaura Sri Krishna, Chaitanya, Radha, Sri Radha, Srivasani, Gauravattamini Gita. Sri Radha, Krishna, Gauravattamini Shankhan, Bhari, Giri Gauravattamini Gita. Ramanamai, Gunamai Gita. Bhakti Devi, Kansi Devi Gita. Shri Bhagadanga, Shri Ram Sankitan Gita. Srimati Radharani Gita. Gita Gauravattamini. All glory is to the assembled devotees. All glory is to the assembled devotees. All glory is to the assembled devotees. All glory is to Sri Guru and Sri Govinda.
Namaste, Narasimhaya.
Namaste, Narasimhaya.
So thanks to everyone for coming to the temple and were able to come, and thanks to everyone for joining us online. Special thanks to Peter Boyd for this evening's inspiring talk. And so there's nothing more to be said other than Srimati Radharani ki
Jai.
Radhastami ki
Jai.
Prabhupada ki Kishori Jani ki. And we look forward to meeting you online at the next available opportunity. Hari Bol.